There's now evidence through the information I'm looking at that shows that they're now shutting down HMRC companies. Now, all of these things shout very loudly that there's something very true about what I'm saying.
Right. But they just do this, don't they? They just go, we'll shut ourselves off from all of this. We're not going to say anything. We're not going to confirm anything. Because even if they deny anything, suddenly they're digging a deeper hole. So they're just being quiet.
Hmm. Yeah, I mean, it's not even about, not saying anything. There's things they could be doing to stop this carrying on. So, this is clearly a sign that they're allowing it to continue and to maybe be selective on who use this system of fraud. It's not good enough. And by
No.
everything they're doing, all they're doing is just digging a deeper and deeper hole, which is now why they are, which I mentioned to you prior to the interview, the SWIFT international banking system are now panicking, and they're now expediting a transition to central bank digital currency. And I thought this might happen, and that means that they're looking to remove cash or go to a cashless society at sometimes in the near future. Now, that is going to be a huge problem for us all, and I will explain why. At the moment, you and I can withhold or most of us can withhold our taxes as a form of peaceful protest if the government are trying to impose unlawful policies or something that they know the people would not be happy about without consultation. We would have the ability to withhold our taxes and still have the ability to use cash to survive if they froze accounts, for etc., because we were protesting. If they remove cash, that ability is gone, okay, because they will be able to freeze accounts, take money from accounts without us even knowing. And let's not forget, I've done a recent video, the SWIFT international transaction system is a fraudulent entity system, okay? Most banks use this international transaction system. It has been set up with false entity companies. In fact, the same companies that started up my company that I'm still a shareholder for, where this all started, the very same company was used to start up the SWIFT international transaction system that all banks used. So it's already a fraudulent system, and they will know that because, of course, these people would have had financial advisors, solicitors involved in setting up these companies. They would most certainly have known that the Companies House register has to be done correctly and that those companies have to be registered lawfully without fraudulent registration. But it still happened. So they know exactly what they're doing. And that means there's a very good chance they're just going to try and move the fraudulent system into the central bank digital currency system. And that is going to be a huge problem for us all.
And you said to me before we started recording that the original plan for the CBDCs is much later on, in 2030, I think you mentioned. And we've been talking about the advent of this, and people haven't quite worked out when it was going to happen. And they tried it out in places like, I think Nigeria was one in which it was rejected. By bringing these things forward, it shows that they're panicking and they've fallen off their timescale. Do you think, though? I mean, trying to put a bit of a positive spin on it, it does seem that as they start to panic and they start to bring all this stuff forward, and they've been doing this, it seems to me, for some time, the wheels are falling off their bus because in their panic, they're making mistakes.
They are, but it does also mean they're getting closer to an unstoppable system. Because if you imagine you've got people that want to protest, but they have families, they have to have a roof over their head, they're going to be worrying that their banks are going to be frozen. So you're going to have people less likely to stand up and oppose what the government are doing. And we all know they're not consulting the public on many things. They haven't consulted us on the bombing of the children in Gaza. That will be a thing of the future. We will not be consulted on many of the policy changes, okay? And they will just impose them, even if it fits their narrative criminal system against what is right for the general public and the environment. And that is now a very real danger, very real.